Hello and welcome to a Watching Brief special bulletin, and this one is about the omni-shambles that the European Association of Archaeologists, the EAA, has got itself into over its policy on delegates from Israel at its flagship European Archaeology 2025 meeting, which is currently underway. The background to this is that under pressure from members, including a pressure group called Archaeologists Against Apartheid, who felt that the ongoing Israeli government onslaught in Gaza should be recognised by the EAA. The ruling executive board of the EAA voted to require delegates at EAA 2025 who were affiliated with Israeli universities and public bodies to participate as individuals. Now, that is because of controversies over Israeli heritage and antiquities policy in places like Gaza and the West Bank, and also because of the ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza, which has led to the Netanyahu government being accused of crimes against humanity and war crimes. Now, a similar ruling was made in the case of delegates from Russia and Belarus following Russia's illegal invasion of Ukraine in 2023. Now, however, the EAA's decision made by its executive board was reversed within days, and that was reportedly under pressure from individuals and bodies, including some who are supportive of the Israeli government. The EAA then compounded the problem by appearing to try to limit the rights and opportunities of delegates to EA 2025 to discuss the issue in sessions at the meeting. Again, this is one of the flagship meetings of European archaeologists. Basically, at its meeting on the 1st of September, a majority of the executive board decided to reverse the earlier decision to remove affiliations from delegates from Israel. And on further reflection, the board claimed in a statement, the decision had been rushed and misjudged due to lack of sufficient information and time pressure, and added, "We deeply regret any harm to our affected colleagues with whom we will shortly be in touch." Now, that move was met with fury from many EAA members, as well as advocacy groups like the anarchist Black Trowel Collective, which commented that not only was the decision to overturn the vote undemocratic, they said, "We do archaeology because we care about people in the past and people in the present, and oppose the violent destruction of lives and heritage. Having to stand by and witness this happen in our time is horrible. Having to also witness that one of our largest archaeological communities allowed interference with a democratic process to overturn a decision like this is unacceptable." And they concluded by stating, "There is no middle ground when genocide is happening, and we refuse to stay voiceless." Now, an increasing number of experts and international bodies accept that the actions of the Netanyahu government in Gaza reach the definition of genocide under international law. The deaths of people, most of them civilians, over 62,000 people reported by the 21st of August 2025, and with the IDF, that's the Israel Defense Force, reporting that as many as 83% of those deaths are civilians. Now, additionally, between the 7th of October 2023, the Hamas attacks on Israel, the Hamas atrocities in Israel, and 27 May 2025, the United Nations cultural body UNESCO verified damage to 110 sites in Gaza. That's 13 religious sites, 77 buildings which are described as of historical or artistic interest, 3 depositories of movable cultural property, museums and archives, 9 monuments, 1 museum, and 7 archaeological sites. In that context, the EAA also caused furious incredulity by referring to their decision to ask Israeli delegates to operate as individuals as a collective punishment. Now, under international law, collective punishment is a crime against humanity, and it's one of the accusations facing the Netanyahu government over its actions in Gaza. Critics of the EAA stance argue, how is it possible for an academic body, which had merely asked that delegates with Israeli affiliations don't declare them, how they could equate that with the alleged collective punishment, such as the withholding of food, the destruction of critical infrastructure like water and sewage and medical facilities in Gaza. Now, responding to the situation, individual members of the EA threatened to resign membership, and there was also talk of boycotting the EA 2025 meeting itself, the main focus of the current row. And in fact, causing further offence was a set of instructions sent out to volunteer organisers of sessions at EAA 2025, which was promptly leaked to the social media. The instructions appeared to imply that dark forces were behind the attempts to politicise the EAA and required organisers of sessions to threaten to deplatform anyone making what we describe as political statements as part of their presentations or as introductions to their presentations. Now, the angry response to the latest U-turn and the way that the EAA leadership seemed to be supporting the U-turn by preventing members from even raising the issue during EA 2025 sessions led to yet another announcement from what appears to be a board increasingly desperate to control the situation. And that was issued this morning at the time of recording, 3 December 2025. And the new statement said, "We would like to apologise for any conclusion or offence our resulting message to session organisers on 2nd of September may have caused. Please understand that we are currently working in unprecedented and very difficult circumstances." The statement continued, "We are therefore sincerely sorry if anyone has unfortunately gained the impression that they do not have the right to speak. The EAA stands for academic freedom and for freedom of speech, and we have never sought to impede anyone's pre-agreed presentation or discussions on the presentations. But please remember that our sessions are precious places where the participants attend to have their contributions heard and discussed in full time that is allocated." The statement concluded, "Our prime objective is to move forward on all EAA matters in a way that better represents the spirit and ethos of the EAA as enshrined in statutes. We trust all session organisers and speakers will exercise due responsibility and respect. We're grateful to everyone for your shared efforts in striving for the common interests of the EAA and our membership." Now, however, that latest statement didn't rescind the instructions, and it didn't allow statements, and in any case, for many people, the damage has now been done and can't be undone so easily, not least because the latest statement again also stated that, quote, "The context of this announcement is a call by an anonymous organisation to insert political protests within EAA sessions. This appears to be trying to present the EAA as a victim rather than the people of Gaza. And in any case, it can be pointed out that if this is a reference to Archaeologists Against Apartheid and Genocide and the Black Trowel Collective, both decentralized organizations operate openly on social media, including on Facebook, Bluesky, Instagram, and on Twitter, as well as on the World Wide Web. Now, as things stand, the leadership of Europe's premier representative body for archaeologists has been looking at best incompetent, especially in the communications department. At worst, that leadership looks weak and unprincipled, with its decision-making left to the last individual group that it listened to or was most able to intimidate it. These may be unprecedented and very difficult circumstances, as the statement described, but to its critics, those circumstances are almost entirely of the EAA leadership's own making. And at least one leading academic commented on social media that it was hard to see how the current executive board of the EAA could retain their positions. Another called specifically for the resignation of the board. The EAA has been approached for comments based on the issues raised by these events, and obviously we'll report those as and when we hear anything. That's it for this Watching Brief special bulletin. See you next time. A reminder that if you enjoy the work of the Watching Brief and ArchaeoSoup, you can help us do more often by going to, in the case of ArchaeoSoup, the ArchaeoSoup Patreon account, and in the case of the Pipeline Heritage News website, which I edit, you can buy us a Ko-fi. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the Watching Brief account on YouTube. It'll help us beat the algorithm. Thanks. Bye-bye.